Time on how my fiance got me pregnant, then left me and married a man. Okay, so boom, a lot was said in that title alone. So it all started when I commented on an Instagram post of a handsome man. This handsome man then followed me and slid into my DMs. "You are so beautiful. Call me." Things went on from there and he eventually asked me to move in. So I did. We quickly got to know each other and I fell in love. I then learned of his testimony. He was a gay man who went to church and was delivered. Hallelujah. He was no longer gay and now was a straight man walking with God. I believed him and believed that this was his new truth, so I went on with our relationship. I got pregnant and then he proposed and we were set to get married in love. Or so I thought. Things took me by storm when one day I woke up and my fiance left me for a man. Like for part 2. Story time on how my fiance got me pregnant, then left me and married a man part 2. Okay, so boom, like I said, he was delivered, hallelujah, and no longer gay. A straight man walking with God. He proposed and I got pregnant and we were set to be married in love. Or so I thought. Things took me by storm when one day I woke up and my fiance left me. And not only did he leave me, but he left me pregnant for a man and married that man the same day our wedding was set for. I'm heartbroken, but I gotta be strong for my baby. Be careful out there.
Storytime about how I caught my boyfriend and my best friend talking trash about me. My boyfriend swears that this was the first time they ever spoke badly about me behind my back, so I need you guys to tell me your opinion. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 years, but it's been on and off for a very long time. He's always been a little bit toxic and extremely jealous. Jealous to the point where I can't have any guy friends. He has to know exactly where I'm going and with who, and he always likes to approve the content I'm about to post on Instagram. One time I actually posted a bikini picture of me and my best friend, and he flipped out. He said all I was doing was trying to get attention from guys, and of course he called me a slut too. After this I broke up with him and we didn't see each other for like 3 months, but apparently he called my best friend and asked her to convince me to get back with him, and she succeeded. I got back with him. But it seems like my boyfriend just kept getting even more jealous of everything. He even got jealous of my new boss. My boss happens to be young and very attractive, and my boyfriend forced me to quit. You heard that right. I quit my job. Part 2 is Storytime about how I caught my boyfriend and my best friend talking trash about me behind my back. He swears this never happened before, but I don't know. You guys have to tell me what you think. After he forced me to quit my job because he thought I was attracted to my boss, I held a lot of resentment. So I went and talked to my best friend. Cause duh, isn't that what you usually do when you have a problem? I went straight to her house and I cried to her. She told me that I was stupid for even leaving my job, and basically that I needed to break up with my boyfriend. Then I got really mad at her. She convinced me to get back with him. I ended up leaving her place because I was so upset. I went to my parents and told them everything that happened. My dad was so upset, he called my boyfriend and told him to never ever look for me again, and that he was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. My mom even called him the devil. Part 3 is up. Storytime about how I caught my boyfriend and my best friend talking trash behind my back. After my dad yelled at my boyfriend on the phone telling him to stay away from me, my boyfriend started calling my phone non-stop. At this point, you can imagine I was super upset. My boyfriend forced me to quit my job, which I did. My best friend wasn't listening to me, and my parents were just attacking my boyfriend. So I decided to go back to my best friend's house. I pull up to her apartment building and park. I walked all the way up to her apartment, but as I got closer to the door, I could hear my boyfriend and her speaking. I immediately thought that my boyfriend was there looking for me, but something told me to stop and listen at the door. That's when I hear my best friend calling me a stupid bitch, that I don't appreciate my boyfriend, and that even though I'm a brat, I still get everything I want. Then my boyfriend says, "You should have heard her fat ass dad. I should beat the crap out of him for his disrespect." I walked in and told him I heard everything. My best friend immediately apologized and backtracked. She said she was just trying to calm my boyfriend down, who was being aggressive. My boyfriend also apologized. I told him I couldn't trust them. They swore that that was the first time they'd ever done that. My best friend keeps calling me, but I won't answer her calls. Should I break up with my boyfriend?
Am I the asshole for refusing to continue changing my soon-to-be 7-year-old sister's diapers? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I, 16 female, have a younger sister, 6 female, who still uses diapers around the house. She attends school and is about to go into the 1st grade. She can easily use the bathroom in school, but only to pee. The moment she comes home, she asks my mom, 38 female, to change her into a diaper so she can poop, and as her sister, I have to put her in a diaper and change her. She's 6, but my cousin and I have been able to use the restroom properly from the age of 9 months to 2 years. I know every child is different, but not being able to use the restroom properly by the age of 6 years old is something that isn't normal in my opinion. Yes, we have gone to the doctor to see if anything was wrong, but the doctor said that everything was okay. Now here's where my parents and family have called me an asshole. Over the summer, I have been trying to get my little sister to use the restroom instead of diapers, but we've had no progress, so half of my summer was me just changing diapers when she felt like pooping, and it was disgusting. Am I the asshole for refusing to continue changing my soon-to-be 7-year-old sister's diapers? Disclaimer, this is not my story. Yesterday, I was helping my mom in the kitchen and I decided to tell her it was a simple conversation. Keep in mind, my mom and I don't have the best relationship. I said, "Hey mom," she said, "Yes." I then said I don't want to continue changing sister's diapers. She's almost 7 and I'm disgusted while still having to change her big diapers for nothing. I always end up throwing up after changing them and it's not normal for her or me. She's healthy and nothing's wrong with her, so can you at least put some effort so she can leave the diapers? My mom started crying and yelling at me, calling me a bitch and a worthless, lazy daughter. She told me I was the one who wanted a sister, so she sacrificed her life to give me what I wanted, and since she did, I owe her my life. After we finished screaming at each other, she began making phone calls to many of the relatives who called me an asshole and a useless daughter. My friends and grandparents and some of my cousins are on my side. But my dad and mom say they are disappointed and disgusted with me. It's really been hurting my self-confidence. Am I the asshole for not kicking my mother out of my wedding because my wife was offended by her dress? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I got married recently and it was a beautiful day. We considered not inviting my mother because she is not a happy, supportive person in our lives and she has many issues with my wife. Ultimately, we decided to invite her just because it is a big day and her brand of crazy is very quiet and not attention-seeking. I take my wife's side almost all of the time and definitely every time in front of my mother. But one thing my wife does that drives me crazy is nitpick my mother's clothing and assume there's always a subliminal message. My wife was offended by what my mom wore to the rehearsal dinner because the dress had small cutouts on the side. But one of her bridesmaids wore a fancier crop top and skirt combo and she wasn't offended by that. She was also bothered by the headband my mom wore to our engagement dinner because it was more bejeweled than the ring I gave her. And my mother-in-law ended up ripping it off my mom's head and trying it on. Anyways, my mom wore black to our wedding. Am I the asshole for not kicking my mother out of my wedding because my wife was offended by her dress? Disclaimer, this is not my story. Anyways, my mom wore black to our wedding. I've never seen or heard that being a taboo thing. My dad got married a couple years ago and the bridesmaid dresses were black. My wife said it's offensive because it's a funeral color. But the one my mom was wearing was a nice lacy one-sleeve dress. Not something drab like you would wear to a funeral. My wife asked me to ask her to either change or leave. I might be the asshole because she was a bride and it was her day, but I said no. I explained that I actually don't think she did that on purpose, and while I know she has been a jerk in the past, I think she would have worn that even if she liked us. My wife was understandably hurt and felt I didn't have her back on our day. I even offered to pay to have the color changed in the photos. But thankfully my mom just disappeared during family pictures because she didn't want to be in them or assume she wasn't wanted. So am I the asshole?